Good afternoon, Bonn. It's wonderful to be here. We are here with you with a piece of work we have been dealing with for the past few months. I'm Joanna. This is my colleague Viera. And we want to tell you a story about a joint effort. This is a public-private effort which aims to revitalize local and regional media in Ukraine. And it all started, as you probably know, 30 months ago with a full-scale invasion in Ukraine. And since then, the media landscape of the country has been very deeply scarred at every level. And we have over 250 news outlets closed. The financial stability of local and regional media is deeply challenged. And there are news deserts in Ukraine appearing already now. There is a lack of employees at media, and the military draft is not helping the situation. And of course, there are also difficulties in accessing information. And at the same time, this famous already saying, be brave, like Ukrainian journalists, is proven by them every single day. They are doing incredible, persistent, very often solution-driven work to deliver daily news to their communities. And they are not alone with this task, because organizations like Ukrainian Media Fund and Correctiv and many other present here today, like Deutsche Welle, for example, they have been supporting Ukrainian colleagues from the very first days of the big-scale invasion. We have been providing emergency aid in the form of financing, but also equipment supply. And it has been our pride and privilege to add to the survival of Ukrainian local media outlets and to help their journalists endure. However, there are always two sides of the coin. The influx of support, financial support, made many outlets dependable on short-term project grants, and this actually, to some extent, derailed their operational goals. One of our local media partners in Chernihiv recently told us that they are spending more time on fundraising and reporting to donors than they are actually reporting to their own community. And this is a problem. So with these stories in mind, and after 2 years of emergency aid, we, UMF and Correctiv, decided that it's time for a change. It is time for strategic, informed approach to Ukrainian media recovery. And in this spirit, we joined forces to investigate the real state of Ukrainian media and design its sustainable, community-based recovery strategies. And our initiatives has found a committed partner in the North Rhine-Westphalia state government, and thank you very much for that. And this empowered us to collaborate with a Ukrainian organization, Media Development Foundation. They are amazing researchers and media trainers. Our experts joined forces with their experts to dive deep into the needs and solutions for Ukrainian media recovery, particularly in local communities, and with the use of community-based models. So this is what me and Viera want to present to you today, some findings and some recommendations. Please be aware that this is half-baked. The final findings and recommendations will be ready in 2 weeks. But still, we wanted to give you a preview what we have discovered.
Okay, so thank you. It's my privilege as a former researcher to introduce the research. It's something that deeply connects me with the Central Europe as a Slovakian living in Germany, but still trying to raise the voice of Ukraine with the current media landscape. So what we did actually, we conduct with the help of Ukrainian partners, 37 survey with 37 independent local media in Ukraine. We also try to have the highlight on the editorial team, how they manage to be financially sustainable in the war, and also try to extract from the Western partners those lessons learned that they can manage to use after the war. This is just the highlight. 120 pages, it's too long to be present right now. So what I would like to introduce you two particular elements that needs to be focused, because once the war is over, this will be the challenge even for Europe, not even for Ukrainian media landscape. First thing, the local media play double role. The first role is watchdog activities. As you know, you all are sitting now here and do it. But at the same time, they need to be, in a way, prepared to get the money to fundraise the military activities, which is, again, a double sword after the war. The second highlight from the study was informational role and community role. Informational role, getting the information to the local communities on one hand, and on the other, trying to be self-confident and to pay attention in the information that they try to promote, because the sensitivity that they are challenging each day, which information they can try to pass through the channel and which not. It's really right now in a crucial level when it's the war. And the last but not least, for me, what is the most important thing, why we need to secure local community media in Ukraine is the fact that we both are coming from a region where we forgot it, to build local media landscape, independent one. Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, they had the times when the states controlled the media. Still, there are the times. And to give the Ukraine chance, we need to rebuild and support their local media and to give them the opportunity that they need.
Right, so we do have a kind of diagnosis, and what can we do about it? So what are the critical steps to be taken, and who should be taking these steps? Well, I do believe that all of us. And I would like to start with recommendations to media support organizations and philanthropy, and all those who want to support Ukrainian local media financially. So we will be facing the following problems. There is fragmentation of funding, there are short-term solutions based on project grants, there is excessive demand on reporting, and general spread of a disease I call grantosis. And as proven by our study, long-term institutional support is needed to rebuild and modernize local Ukrainian media. And we believe that the answer to this need might be a pooled fund for Ukrainian media, which should ensure operational and core sustainability of Ukrainian media outlets. And this should be a joint and coordinated initiative of media support organizations and institutions, all those who do agree that this is the moment to change the rules of the game, to decolonize media support, and then to take the needs of the media first. And also, we as donors should use our advocacy opportunities to support recovery of media environment in Ukraine. And how? Well, but calling Ukrainian civil society and policymakers to improve their media law, to build a public system of media support with independent governance, a kind of national fund with subsidies, tax reductions. You've already heard from my predecessors about the need of such solutions, but also systemic ways of protecting journalistic freedoms and safety. And again, the priority should be constructive journalism, media focused on communities and building their business models around these communities. So yes, audience first, but also meaning communities first. And this pooled media fund I mentioned before, we believe that it could be a good starting point for a national fund for media. And then also policymakers do have their role to play. First of all, they should take care of better solution in their own national ways of funding international entities, meaning development aid system should be revised and should include media support directly. And this is something for all of us to discuss with our policymakers. Listen to us. There is a need of less bureaucracy, more unrestricted funds for media, and long-term support focused on building human capacity. And last but not least, let's do not forget that there is no Ukrainian recovery without recovery of Ukrainian media. And this is something, again, what policymakers should be advocating to their peers, to make sure that media do have their place in recovery plans, because so far they haven't been included at all.
And when we talk about the media landscape and the future of Ukraine, we need to pay attention to one simple word: trust. Trust is the baseline, and that makes European unite. And when we talk about trust, like as all of you remember, when the war started and the full-scale invasion, there was a huge support, rhetorical, also material from the Central Eastern Europe. And I believe the Central Eastern Europe is the crucial one. It played a part because it's border, the Ukraine. And I just give you an highlights about how the trust level is decreasing. And we need to pay attention also when we build the independent media landscape to rebuild the trust again to those neighbor states that are crucial, that are the borderline right now for the Europe. But they need to have the trust also to Ukraine media, and the media society.
Right, so this brief picture we just painted here for you is bittersweet, we know that. And it's challenging us with many different problems to be resolved by all those who want to be involved in safeguarding democracy and free media in Ukraine. And I wanted to quote my friend Oksana Brovko from Association of Ukrainian Publishers. She's always telling me, you remember, Joanna, the darker the night, the brighter the stars. And we really would like our findings from the study, as well as the recommendations, to become a kind of North Star for our actions, activities, joint activities in supporting in a long term and in the spirit of sustainability of local Ukrainian media. Like I said, our study is half-baked. It will be ready for you in 2 weeks. So please stay with us, stay tuned, and in 2 weeks, check our websites to find out more. Thank you.